What's going on, gardeners? On today's 2-minute garden tip, I'm going to show you the easiest way to protect your garden soil and keep it healthy. Right now, we are at summer's midpoint, and if you're like me, you have a lot of empty space in your garden because the crops that we planted out in spring, well, many of them have run their course, and it is still too warm to plant out any of our fall crops. So, as a result, we have a lot of unattended, unused garden space, and that soil is vulnerable to damage. Your garden soil contains trillions of microorganisms, bacteria and fungi that work in harmony to help break down organic matter and break it into compounds that can then be taken up by your plants and feed them. Now, largely, it's the roots of the plants growing in your garden that actually colonize that microbiome. They create a symbiotic relationship with the roots that grow in your soil. So when you remove all of those plants and there is nothing growing in your garden soil, and it's just sitting, exposed, beating in the sun, you are killing the microbiome colonies that keep your soil healthy. And we really want to do our best to protect and maintain those colonies. This raised garden bed right here has been cleaned and amended with compost, and I want to do everything in my power to protect this garden soil so I can transplant crops into it in about 4 weeks. And the easiest way to do this is to cover the garden soil with a tarp. And this is going to have 3 main benefits. Number 1, it is going to prevent UV damage to the soil. That sun is going to be beating down on our garden. Well, we want to protect the top layer of that soil to protect the microbiome from being basically bleached by the harsh rays of the sun. Number 2, it is going to prevent weed seed germination because placing the tarp on top, well, it's going to block new weed seeds from blowing around in the air and lying on the surface, but also any weed seeds that are already in the garden soil, they are going to germinate in a 0 light condition. So they're going to come up, they're going to get no light, they're going to suffocate and die. And also number 3, there's a certain amount of pest eggs that are in the soil right now that have been laid progressively throughout the spring and the summer when the insects are very active. Well, when I place this tarp down, once again, any insect eggs that are going to hatch, they're going to suffocate, and actually the heat of the sun is going to build up underneath the tarp, and it's going to kill off a certain percentage of those pest eggs and weed seeds as well. So we are going to take a tarp and we are going to lay it down over the surface of the garden soil and then weigh it down with some bricks or some pieces of wood or logs or any other weights that we can find to hold everything down tightly. And now our garden soil has been nice and protected while we somewhat patiently await our next planting. So these 2 raised garden beds that you see right here covered by a tarp will be good and ready for planting my fall garden in about a month, and because they are covered, we will expect them to all be weed-free. Now you may be asking yourself, can't I just protect my soil by covering it with several inches of a natural mulch? And the answer to that question is yes. If you add natural mulch to your garden soil, that will protect it from UV damage, as well as add organic matter and nutrients to your soil naturally as the mulch decomposes. However, because I'm in the middle of the growing season, and because I'm going to be planting something in this bed in only 1 month, the tarp is a better decision. And that is because right now, since we're in the middle of July, there are pest eggs and there are weed seeds that are in that soil. And if all I do is place a mulch layer down, all of those pest eggs are going to hatch and all of the weed seeds are going to germinate because they are already there. The tarp is going to get that soil good and hot, so it's going to kill off insect pest eggs, and it's going to totally prevent germination and kill off the weed seed bank that is under there. So because we're in the middle of the growing season and because I want to plant in it quickly, the tarp is going to aid in my mission. If this were the middle of winter, or I were going to rest this bed for 3 to 4 months where nothing is going to be planted, then I would bury this in about 4 to 6 inches of a natural mulch and just let it sit during a long dormant period. So what you use is really up to you. That is my logic, and it's why I'm doing things the way I'm doing them right now. And if you're looking for the very affordable tarps that I use to cover my raised garden beds, I'll place some links down in the video description to them for your convenience. They come in all different sizes. And that's today's 2-minute garden tip. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell to receive new video notifications, and check out our Amazon storefront and spread shop in the video description for a list of the gardening products I use and awesome custom designed apparel and other gear. Your support is greatly appreciated.